there's an interesting side note here. I've been looking at this online the last couple of days. The regulator rectifier, this can be quite a problem for a lot of bikes. It's quite a point of failure. And when these go, they tend to take out, I believe, the stators in there. So these are 1960s technology. This is what I've been discovering. And there are MOSFET ones, so the internal resistors, the architecture, all that kind of gubbins. Trust me, I don't know what I'm talking about in terms of electronics here, but you can get aftermarket ones, and there is Shindengen is a company, but see, trying to get them in the UK, oh man, it's like they're like hen's teeth. There's a guy called roadcycle.com in America. There's an eBay company that do them genuine, but as you can guess, you can pick them up on AliExpress, you can pick them up on Amazon, you can pick them up on eBay, but they're all knockoff crap. And they're all basically the old style, and a lot of them are quite guilty of burning with the connectors. But I've just been having a wee look, because I'm going to take some measurements of that, the physical dimensions, the spacings between the bolts. The other problem is obviously this cabling. I can feel underneath it. I was around the back. It's really awkward to get into. It'll probably take a wee bit of a strip down. But you've got two options. The other one, the other MOSFET one that you buy, a genuine one, has two block connectors on that side, far side. So you need to get basically a cable made up with them that then jacked into the Suzuki wiring harness, because this one's a fixed cable that exits this regulator rectifier, and then it goes in to two block connectors, what it looks like on the other side. So I don't fancy hacking and splicing at this stage of the game. The other thing to do would be possibly to buy one from a spares kit, because I do keep a lot of things in spares, but make sure I get a decent quality plug and play one from a reputable UK company, even if it isn't upgraded. So that's that little bit out of the way. Hello YouTube, this is a live one-shot recording. Today I've received from the company Motomine a regulator rectifier. Now, some of you might be aware that a lot of Japanese motorcycles, and a lot of other motorcycles for that matter, so this is a live unboxing, a lot of them have problems with regulator rectifiers. And from what I've gathered from some of the videos that I've seen, it seems to be that the technology is 1960s shunt regulator rectifiers. So you can, well, that's packaged bizarrely, it's right at the bottom of the box but with no padding around it. Excuse me, I had some pepper on my lunch today. So the technology in them apparently is really quite poor, but a lot of manufactured bikes these days are coming with them, Yamahas and various Hondas and stuff. So this is supposed to be a claimed 2023 from a CB750. Okay. It's got the aluminium back plate, it's got the oval thing, it does have the writing, it's got the little indents. So it most definitely doesn't look fake. That's one good thing. The pins are all in good condition. But the thing that you've got to do is test it. Now, I've never done this before, so this will be interesting if I can remember the sequence. And you're basically testing the unit. It must be for continuity and making some notifications. So you've got two pins. The closest one is the positive, and that is the negative. And these three are from the stator wire. So these ones are all AC current that goes into it. So I'll switch this on, get rid of that before I cut myself. Put it onto diode mode. So the first test apparently is you put the positive to the negative and you should get a reading on this. So it's 475, we'll call it 474. .473, 473. So that was 474, 473, 473. The second test is you put the positive on here and try it again. Now this should stay at nothing. And that's all good. So that's 0, 0, 0. So a little interlude here. I realised partway through the video when I was editing it and stitching them together for the first part from outside a wee while ago, and this part that I'd actually obscured the controller with my hand so you couldn't see anything that was going on. So I thought it'd be okay just to stitch this bit in so that you can see in there the pins. So again, positive onto the negative, and I'll keep my arm out the way. So what are we getting this time? There'll be different readings this time because the temperature will have changed, everything will have changed. 463, 462, and 462. Put the positive on the positive and you should get nothing. All three, that's correct. Now switch over, put negative to negative, and you should get nothing. Correct. Put the negative this time on the positive, and you get 94. 94, I bet this one's 96. Oh yeah, look, see, it's two above. It was the last time. Well, it's dropped down. So that's just to show the readings that you get and how the probes go on different terminals. So the readings will change. Yeah, that was actually documented in one of the other videos that I've watched. It actually said that temperature, there's various things that alter through the day, but especially temperature will change the resistance, what's going through the actual MOSFET thing. The other thing I forgot to mention, I might as well mention now that I'll probably have to fashion, is a bracket, because that isn't actually going to be a plug and play onto the Suzuki. It will be a different width. It will be something or other, because you know what manufacturers are like. Come on, they could never harmonize anything and just say we'll all stick to this standard. Every one of them's got to have something different. Different connectors, different everything. Where would the fun be if it was all easy? So that was the positive. You then put the negative, you change this around. So the negative to the negative, and you get 0. Excuse my twitch there. It jumped, and 0, and 0. So that's all 0, 0, 0. Now I've got to put the negative onto the positive. I'm going to work back the way. 100. 100. 102. 'Okay, so that's a 102, a 100, and a 100. So in effect that means that this regulator rectifier is good. Apparently if you get a 0 in amongst any of these, or conversely if you get a high number, one of these hundreds reading in that channel, that's when you've got a problem. Or the other thing that can be wrong is if there's a big discrepancy between these. So say one of these was reading 50 or something, or that was reading 400 or something, or a higher number, then there would be an issue. So that's that test complete. So I know that the regulator rectifier that they've provided me is not a dud, which is a good thing. I've got the connections to make up which I bought separately, and a lot of cabling. So the idea being that the 3 stator wires will be connected directly to the stator wires that exit the casing of the GW250. So they will provide alternating current, and they can be anyone, it doesn't matter. That's the positive, that's the negative. They must never be mixed up or you'll blow this unit. But apparently these units are so much more reliable, cooler running, and people don't get problems with them, because apparently on some brands of bike the regulator rectifiers get fried every so often, and when they go they can take the stator out, which is actually the magnets and the generator part that spins with the crankshaft. So it's an FH027AA, and from all my research it looks like it's perfectly adequate. It's an upgrade from the FH020, and this is a newer model, so that's actually quite good. There's a guy called roadstercycle.com, Jack somebody, if you want to look at his videos, he's actually pretty good. And I got this from him, the testing method, and also from Kev's Shed from a video on an SV1000, I think it was, or a VFR 800, possibly it was VFR, I think. So you have to look for the fake ones, you see. They were selling these, this was £50 delivered, second hand, but apparently they don't, you know, they're indestructible. The guy on Jack's channel, he said that he has shipped out tens of thousands of them, and he's had 4 fail that he's had to in that time. So these are much better. You can get what you think are these on AliExpress, eBay, lots of places, Amazon. They're selling them at, like, you know, 50 quid brand new, the full kit, but they're fakes. They're not actually genuine Shindengen, which is the company that make these. So the next step will be making the cables up. That'll be a lesson in soldering, but I'm not going to be doing the job until I'm 100% happy, that I'm 100% content with my soldering abilities, because cutting into the wiring loom for the alternator, that's not just a little lightweight job. I want to make sure I do it properly. And the positive and negative are actually, the negative goes straight to the battery, the positive through a 30 amp fuse to the battery as well. So it's basically got its own system. It's bypassing the wiring of the bike. So I'm going to upgrade as much of the wiring as I can on the bike to a higher gauge. But obviously I can't take it right into the stator. So as short a piece as that as possible to keep it weatherproof. So one day there'll be another video. Bye for now.